everyone. Welcome to another episode of Inspired Women Gathering Show. This is a show that talks about all things from life, relationships, spirituality, business, and everything in between. Women are so inspiring, living through their stories, finding resilience, resourcefulness, tenacity, and the powerful impact that we make in the world. I love connecting, having deep conversations, sharing with you the women I am inspired by and so blessed to know. My name is Dixie Bennett. I'm your host. I'm a soulful women and wealth coach and healer, helping heart-centered entrepreneurial women heal their self-worth, embody their soul purpose, and create sustainable business with heart. And I created this platform to highlight amazing women who I come across and connect with, and I'm so happy for you to be here today. I'm so excited to introduce our beautiful guest, Nicole Pemberton, and our topic today is Activate Your Design from Within. Nicole's background includes dancing professionally on stages around the world, educating dance through many platforms, and presenting her own creative work through various collaborations. She is a creator, visionary, speaker, and writer. Nicole has obtained a diploma and BA in dance and performing arts. She has also completed certification in Reiki Levels 1 and 2, crystal healing, and health coaching. She is now a temple body artist through continued mentorship with Sofiah Thom. Nicole fuses expressive arts and wellness to become an embodied womb priestess and birth the goddess moves. Nicole is driven to express and share this wisdom. She stands for disrupting ancestral patterns, transforming the relationship with the womb body, divine sovereignty, ignite the pleasure and creativity within us, and advocacy for all. Through the goddess moves, she weaves movement, alchemy, modern and ancestral practices to guide and support massive trajectory shifts, liberate your womb, and liberate your life. Wow. Thank you so much, Nicole, for being here.
Well, it is an honor to be sharing space at this time in this moment right now. So I appreciate you opening up the platform to have this conversation.
Thank you so much for being here. And as you can tell, I just love Nicole because she's so grounded. She moves. She's like Mother Earth to me. She's here and she moves in her own timing, and I can't wait to dive in and share a little bit more about her with you today. So I'd love for us to, we covered a lot in your bio. There's so many details there. You and I have sat down and had some really beautiful conversations in the short time that we've known each other. It's been almost a year, I think, or a year-ish since we met. And I just love all the work that you're creating, especially around womb wisdom. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more, well, just to dive into your story and share a little bit about you and how you came to be this beautiful goddess that sits before us today.
What part do you want to dive into?
Well,
It's
a big
so
part
much.
is, I know there's a lot, but it's the what directed you into the womb wisdom capacity, because obviously dance has been a really key part of you. I mean, you have a Bachelor of Arts in it. You've been doing it for years. It seems to be something that woke up inside of you where you wanted to do it more, but then the womb wisdom piece and the healing components, there must have been something that shifted for you, or maybe something that you discovered in your dance movement that helped you move into this different path.
Yeah. Well, I like to think that the building blocks of where we are have been presented to us since birth. And it's sometime, there's a certain point in our lives where we wake up to those gifts, and to see those building blocks that have got us to this point. And for me, coming into this work that I'm doing now really revealed itself to me in different places in my life and different realizations or experiences. If I can pinpoint the actual initiation of birthing the Goddess Moves and birthing this womb wisdom work, it wasn't, I talk about a lot from my fibroids journey, but if I really go back, it started from being burnt out. There were 3 catalyst moments, and it really started from being burnt out. As working as a dancer and as an educator, and nourishing my appetite for wellness and living an optimal life, and starting to learn about self-care and self-healing and all these different components to enrich the expressive arts that I adopted as dance. I was working 7 days a week, 12 to 15 hours a day, and just really just going and just working at a very just fast-paced, not so much fast-paced, but it was a bit on survival, but it was also on how can I just continue to embrace opportunities and take advantage of opportunities that were brought to me. So there wasn't a lot of no. There wasn't a lot of let me think about it. Opportunity, yes. Opportunity, yes. Opportunity, great. Opportunity, awesome. Where can I fit it in? Can I do it? Yes. Could you help here? Yes. Could I do this? Yes. So there was a lot of this, service for others. There was service for myself, but there was service more for, okay, how can I get, and how can I be of service for others, in not so much in a serving way for myself, but it was more of like my energy just going. And there wasn't a very focused container. The container was, how could I be in demand? And so every opportunity was like an opportunity that I took. So with that point of view, I was really embracing what we embrace in society. We celebrate juggling 50,000 different things. We don't celebrate stillness and slow down at all. So I was like in that ambitious go, till I was at the point, this is catalyst number 1, till I was at the point where I was constantly running a fever every so often. And there was a day where I was running a high fever, and I walked to my doctor, and I thought, I don't need to go see him. Let me just go to London Drugs and go get some Advil and come back. But something in me said I could barely walk. So as I was coming home, I went to the doctor. The doctor said to me, "Why are you here?" I said, "Because I wanted your opinion." He's like, "Go to the emergency room right now. Your fever is too high." And I didn't want to go, but I went. And what happened was I had an infected groin injury that was messing with my body so much that it took me out for about a month. I had about 2.5 weeks in the hospital. I got released from my birthday. Wow. And then I had another few weeks to basically sit down, and my parents helped to, I was staying at my parents' house and did nothing but rest. Right. So that was catalyst number 1. And when I told my craniosacral therapist at the time what happened, she just said to me, "So are you going to slow down now?" Right. And everybody was saying, "Are you going to slow down now?" And it was like it wasn't like a little knock at the head. It was like a kick in the head saying, "Are you going to slow down now? Right. Are you going to take breaks? Are you going to really, what are you doing?" That was catalyst number 1. Catalyst number 2 is when my mom died. That's probably the first time I actually said it like that. Wow. Catalyst number 2 is when my mom became an angel, January 23rd, 2014. and my heart cracked open, literally. It happened very suddenly, and I experienced grief and healing in that space like I've never experienced before, because, you know, that's it's family, it's your mom, that's my mom. And that was an experience that really opened me up to a depth that, you know, that I never experienced before in my life until then, to really feel into that space. Catalyst number 3, within catalyst number 2, I experienced, you know, depression, emotional eating, and really finding my way through life that would never be the same. Catalyst number 3 is when I found out I had fibroids, and I went through a really disempowering visit with my first gynecologist, where I was age shamed, I was culture shamed, and I was just put in this space where I felt really small. And I felt disempowered because of the questions that were asked of me. When all I wanted to just get was like woman to woman. I just wanted help. I didn't know what this was, and I just wanted to figure it out, and with some guidance. And from that space, when I went home, I left the office, I put all my stuff on, and I left to go home, and I was crying on the bus. I was sitting there, just no music on, and I was just in tears, thinking, what just happened? Where I was in this vulnerable space of, and I was excited about nobody gets excited about going to the gynecologist. And I was excited. I'm like, yes, I'm going to find some answers. This is going to be good. And I just felt I felt stripped of whatever dignity that I was supposed to have. And something was wrong, because with that, I felt that there was something deeply wrong with that, because I was only given 3 choices: surgery, pills, or leave it alone. And I thought, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something more to this. And as I was feeling sad, that turned into agitation. From agitation, that turned into frustration. From frustration, it turned into, okay, I need to take control and not put all my power and emphasis onto an external force, and learn for myself what I needed to learn. And I changed gynecologists. I changed my health team, because I did not feel safe with the health team that I had. I did not feel listened to. I did not feel that space of, let's work together. It felt very much like, here you go, there are your options, deal with it. I did not agree with that. And so after I changed my health team, and sitting in the doctor's office and just be like, listen, I have questions. And they sat down, and I actually, at first I wanted a female gynecologist. And when that situation didn't turn out so well, when I found somebody else, it was a man, and I was a little hesitant, but I was like, okay, let me just, you know, have a chat with him and see where he's at. And it felt so nice to be in a space where my voice was heard, and he sat down and answered all my questions, because I had a lot, and to feel that reassurance that, okay, here's somebody that is on my team, that is going to do everything that they can to help me and listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I was like, you know, when I heard many stories of women going through similar instances and experiences, it was like, okay, there's more to this. There's more to this that needs to be expressed. And through that process, I did have to have surgery. I had 10 massive fibroids removed.
Mm-hmm.
From that space, there was an insatiable desire to learn more,
Right.
to learn more about the goddesses, to learn more about about the womb space or the uterus, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, to really rediscover those parts of the feminine body that I didn't have knowledge before, to reconnect them to spirituality, to the emotional body, the physical body, and all the different layers. You know, there was a rediscovering of using the knowledge that I had accumulated so far from life, from my dance, from wellness, from my past experiences with my menstrual cycle, with my moon cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And all those things accumulated, it birthed the Goddess Moves. So it was a culmination, it is a culmination of the movement component, but also the ancestral and all the modern beautiful things that we experience now.
Mm-hmm.
And also getting in tune with the body.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the three things that really brought that, if I could tie them together, they were an integral part. I wish my mom wasn't gone.
Yeah.
And I believe in the beautiful people in the medical professions that are there for, you know, the people that come to them, and that take the time to give them that beautiful care.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the three things, the three catalysts that culminated to bring forth my platform.
Mm-hmm. Powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces there. When you think about, well, in discovering the ancestral piece, I'd love to dive into that. That piece just keeps jumping out to me. And in ancestral, well, the ancestral womb energy, the ancestral connections, the ancestral patterns. What are some of the biggest healings that you've encountered and helped change and shift in the world and people you work with today?
It is a continual process because I keep developing and learning more pieces to this part of healing within our womb. For myself, I needed to understand the way that the women in my family, how they moved, what their personalities were, what their characteristics, how they lived.
Right.
And the ancestral part really came to me as a question, because I kept getting the response of, you know, when I was going through my fibroid journey, one of the first things I heard was, this is very common for Black women or for women of color. And I kept hearing that, but nobody could give me an answer why.
Yeah.
And my mother went through this. My aunties, my great aunties, my godmother went through this. You know, a lot of the women in my family alone, a majority of them have went through this, through a fibroid journey, a removal, and or something with the womb, you know, and then I started hearing more Black women, more people of color, more women across the board. I kept hearing their stories, but I kept hearing more experiences from Black women and women of color. And I kept wondering the question, and it started to annoy me because I kept thinking, why isn't there an answer for this? Why isn't there some theories, something to go along with why does this keep happening to one particular group of people more than our counterparts? Mm-hmm. So this is where the ancestral wisdom, the deep dive in the ancestral wisdom started to happen, because I wanted to answer that question, or to get some sort of an explanation or a theory or something to get an understanding mm-hmm. of why this keeps happening. Mm-hmm. So I started to think back of when I started to look at, the matriarchal lineage mm-hmm. and how they lived. First, what came through is that when we look at the womb and the energetic space that it is, mm-hmm. it is a space of creativity, mm-hmm. sensuality, expression, mm-hmm. safety, and grounding. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if we're looking at those components and you're looking back at how people lived mm-hmm. and what was around the environment, what was going on socially, economically, or just in the community, okay? For people of color, if you start to go back, we were in survival mode, okay? So you're in survival mode where you're just trying to live and not die, mm-hmm. and take care of your family as best as you can. Mm-hmm. But the environment was you work, mm-hmm. You support your family, you have your little fun here and there, but it was really in the space of the community that was shaped in that time. Now, so if I go back to, my grandmother or grandfather or great-grandmother, great-grandfather, mm-hmm. well, now you're in the time of oppression, mm-hmm. suppression of people of color, of Black people, mm-hmm. right? So there was, as we're in this time now where we're talking about self-care and we're talking about nourishing our creativity and expressing and your gifts and finding your passion, there was no luxury, there was no opportunity for that. The life was stressful, it was hard. You have, again, you have your moments where you have those moments of joy, but in the entirety, there was a lot of hardship, mm-hmm. there was a lot of stress, yeah. and there was a lot of suppression. Mm-hmm. You had to be strong because you are in a space of survival. Mm-hmm. You had to be, you had to, the work mentality, you had to work hard. It doesn't mean you don't have to work hard now, mm-hmm. but there was so much on the work. There wasn't the luxury of going to play and self-care and take a bath or I'm going to find my dream. Dreams were squashed, and the value and worthiness of self was being reinforced of you're nothing. Mm-hmm. So when I think about my ancestors and what they had to grow up in, right? Now that's just one part. Now, if you want to dial it back to feminine practices and the feminine body, the father of gynecology practice on Black women with a lot of procedures that are still being used today, but they were being perfected on Black women's body with no anesthesia. Oh my gosh. And they were being perfected and experimented on Black women's bodies. And once they were perfected, they were then used on Caucasian women. Now, if you want to think about the ancestral trauma
Yeah.
from then,
Mm-hmm.
right? You understand that the history of this, like the feminine body and the feminine, and going into the uterus and going into the vagina and going into the ovaries and all of that. The practices has been based on trauma on the Black body,
Wow.
trauma on the indigenous body,
Mm-hmm.
right? So those things, as we're in the space of going, as we're really looking at the systems and dismantling the systems across the board,
Yeah.
right? When we're dealing with womb health and womb wisdom, understanding how our lineage, where our lineage came from,
Mm-hmm.
how our parents, our mother, our father, grandparents, great grandparents, how they lived,
Mm-hmm.
what environment were they in, what were they like. My family was full of hardworking,
Yeah.
charismatic,
Mm-hmm.
feisty,
Mm-hmm.
loving, nurturing women and men.
Right.
And they weren't all perfect. Nobody is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but learning about how they were and and some of the things that happened in their lives gave me a deeper understanding into some of the characteristics that I see in me, some of the characteristics I see in my mother and my father. My father's still here, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
But to get a deeper understanding of, like, okay, these are some of the links and these are some of the residues that we are dismantling
I love that.
in our bodies
Mm-hmm.
and through how we walk through life
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how I got in, how I discovered the ancestral component and what I started to piece together
Yeah.
for myself. And even now, as I'm learning about the history of gynecology and how it was born and the trauma it came from,
Hmm.
it brings another deeper level of why things are and what they are based on,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the biases that are out there that we are still dismantling.
Right.
And why I'm so passionate about really taking control of our health,
Mm-hmm.
of our mental, spiritual, and physical health. And like everything, when we look at the foundation, we look at the root. Well, what is the root in the body? That's our womb.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's where we start.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I had no idea about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It is a
It's a
lot.
lot,
Mm-hmm. Well, and
you
I
know? And
understand,
it's,
for me, like I understand fibroids, and it all makes sense to me because fibroids come in my understanding as a cranial sacral therapist as well, and understanding the emotions that get stored in the tissue. To me, fibroids are like it's an idea, a thought, an experience that just keeps cycling around, and they just kind of grow, and they take over. Um, and I believe, especially with fibroids, it comes through the generations of those women before us, and their living experiences and their, because that's exactly where a lot of the trauma gets stored. Regardless, it's an energy in an area that is constantly suppressed instead of being celebrated, especially now more than anything. People are ashamed of their periods. I was watching a show the other day about how women are so ashamed even of their vulva and their lips and how everything looks down there. And so many women don't even look at it. They don't, and they're trying to dye it and brighten it up and make all these different changes to it. I'm just like, I had no idea that that was even a thing of, just not owning the perfection of how our body shows itself to us.
We don't celebrate. We don't, there isn't, well, now there is an awakening of,
There's a deeper awareness that's starting to happen, but it's not, the masses are not awakening to it yet.
it's slowly getting there, because when I see more people embracing and talking about that, and I see little slivers that are starting to pop up in our mass culture, in movies. Like I watched this one movie on Netflix, and it was a recent one, and this young girl was talking about, I'm in my moon time, so it's my time to rest, Dad. Sorry, not today.
Oh,
And I thought, yes, this is beautiful, but there was something that popped up, and now I'm losing what that thought was. Yeah, I think it'll come back to me.
yeah. Well, and I'd love that you are seeing more of those celebrations, and that's part of the work that you do, and you're going to see more proof that it's moving forward.
That's what it was. That's what it was. What if we really look at how we regard our bodies, and socially what is being celebrated in our bodies, as we're in the spaces where we're really truly starting to regard the womb, even calling it the womb, not just our belly or our stomach, or the womb space, giving reverence and honor to that, and all that it is. The only two times we really celebrate our womb is when somebody loses weight, because there is this desire to have this sculpted abdomen, where you have a 2-pack, 4-pack, 6-pack, whatever, and it's celebrated, like, wow, what did you do? Oh my goodness, you look so good, congratulations, my goodness. And you feel good when you wear a bathing suit, and when you go out and you're like, hey, you wear certain clothes differently, and and you just look at your stomach and you're like, damn, this is good, I'm proud. And then the other time is when we celebrate it is the fullness of a growing belly, when a woman is with child, is growing a child in their belly. All of a sudden, a big belly with a child growing in, there is a acceptance in society of, wow, look at this full belly, you're about to give birth, you've got, you appreciate the miracle and the creativity of forming this human being, and we celebrate that fullness. Naked wombs are out there in the body. It's like, oh, look at me. And we absolutely should celebrate that. There's a beautiful process. However, those are the only two times that we actually celebrate bring positivity to the belly, to the womb. And to be able to just be comfortable with it as it is. There's a difference between, if you want to lose weight to be healthy, right? Absolutely. Do what you need, do what you got to do. However, there is an appreciation that I don't feel that is celebrated enough about the body as it is right now. To love the curves, to love the little dimples, to love the jiggles. I always say when I do movement classes, if it jiggles, it's good. We don't want to jiggle. We want to stay tense. Well, the body is not designed to be tense. We're taught to sit up, tuck it in, bring it in. Don't slouch, don't relax. And the body is just like, there is a time to pull in but there's also a time for the body to relax. And the first part that responds to relaxation and ease and flow is the womb, right? So as you talked about the, imbalances, especially with fibroids, as something that is happening, it was explained to me like this, and this just made me go, oh, damn. It's like you have an unborn fetus in your body and it doesn't get birthed.
Right.
When you think about like an unborn child in your body, you'd be like, oh, no, get that out, get it out, let it form, let it grow, let it come out full and whole and healthy. But when you think about it that way, that makes you, it makes you want to really pay more attention to what are you holding on to? What are you not releasing? What experiences, what patterns are you holding in the body that has not been released? Have you not dealt with? Put a mirror up to you and go, oh, we talk about this word accountability a lot. Well, how do we hold ourselves accountable to release that emotional weight that does not serve us anymore, that if we hold on to it long enough, it then materializes into something else. Like if you go to yoga and you go to a yoga class and it's a hips class, well, buckle up, because that is the space within the pelvic bowl, within your womb, within that space. That is where you start to loosen things up and things get brought to your attention, And a lot of times when that gets brought to our attention, we're just like, why is this? I don't want to feel this right now. And we stuff it back down. And the body is asking you to, no, I want you to look at this because I need to release this right now. I don't want to carry this anymore. It's not easy work. Some of it is fun, getting into your creative and juicy side. That's always fun. But feeling that you are worthy and you are deserving and going through those, it's like a multi-layered flower. You are unfolding different parts of you that need to be addressed. Right?
Yeah. I totally see it. I understand. And a lot of the emotions that I see with often a lot of women I tend to see have sad vaginas. They come in and it's just like this, the whole area is just so sad and depressed and depleted, and it carries even just the energy of sadness. Like it's just this heaviness that needs to be grieved even. It needs to be expressed. Sorry, I just got a little pain in my liver. Obviously, we're moving some stuff, which is very interesting. Yeah, just the impact of the womb wisdom. There's so much consciousness there. And when we can drop in, I remember the first time that I got to really drop into the consciousness of the womb, I didn't realize. And it was, to me, it was expansive. It was not contracted. It was not small. It was actually quite, I couldn't believe how buoyant it was, and even bouncy and elasticy. Like it was just, it was so cool just to kind of go in and explore. And when I first had that experience, it was like, it turned everything around for me and how I really felt with the energy of the womb space. It was amazing. And to think that, ideas and creativity and like there's so much possibility and opportunity there. And when we operate from that place, it totally changes the whole body structure. It changes how you show up in the world. It changes how things come to you as well. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, when you talked about how women see themselves, And just even like as you referred to the vagina, or the Sanskrit word is the yoni, or
Yeah.
the portal, the yoni portal towards your cervix and to the uterus. You know, that is such a sacred space. And to regard how you regard your body um, is very telling on how you think about yourself. And where you said it goes into, it links to your creativity and expression, and how your presence in life. Well, if we don't have a good vision of ourselves and kind words to ourselves, then that is the energy we are going to project out in life. It really does a disservice to what is inside of you that is just wanting to come out and flourish. But there is this closed in energy of, you look down and be like, no, that's not pretty. I don't like that. Ew. Oh, I don't feel, you know, well, how would somebody love me down there? I don't, it's like, ugh, I can't even look at it.
Right.
And there's this, you know, the mindset is so powerful. It really is a beautiful teacher on how we show up in the world. So if we're wanting to feel juicy and sensual and have that and really be in that space of creativity, you know, that presence within ourselves, to look at ourselves and to own what is ours. I mean, this is our body. Right? If you want if you want somebody else to give you that pleasure, you got to be able to give it, have it yourself. So you got to be able to look at yourself and be able to be like, okay, this is mine. I'm going to take care of it. This is mine. And however pretty up you want to make it, if you want to shave it, wax it, let it grow, whatever, but it's yours. And when we get into that space of self-love and self-care, the first thing, before we can vibrate this amazing energy out and be just all of that, this has to be regarded in the highest place of ownership and acceptance as it is, and knowing that you are the creation of the divine. You are the creation, you are an evolution of your lineage. You have been created through love. The miracle of the one sperm and the one egg that joined together through an act of love. And here you are, you manifested to be. Why not love like all of this? To appreciate that for yourself first. So when you go to the womb, when you go to your in the most intimate part of yourself, there needs to be a reverence of, this is mine. And you know, you go through the space of, okay, what can you appreciate right now? What can you appreciate about your womb space, your yoni, your portal right now? That, okay, is it healthy right now? Okay, good. You know, is the belly relaxed or tense? It's relaxed. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then you start to deconstruct the layers. Why do I not feel good about the vulva, the yoni lips, the clitoris, why do I not feel good? Was there an experience that shifted the perspective? Why do you not feel good in yourself? Do you feel, why do you not feel valued to be loved? You know, and it's just, and it's vulnerable work to get to that space of, you know, I've never felt that unconditional love. Or I've always had to feel like I have to look a certain way to be appreciated. You know, whatever it is, really distilling down the root. Why can't you be fully let go in pleasure with another? Can you fully let go by yourself? Is there an underlying story of like, oh, that's dirty. No, I don't do that. No, that's against something. Where did that come from? So it is a very deep dive into those layers within the self. First, understanding where that comes from. Then, you know, our nervous system connects from our spine all the way down into our womb portal. So when we're able to be in that fullness of ourselves, that expression, how we use our voice, our expression, our voice expresses our creativity, what we want to express and put out into the world. Our body is like this bridge and this conduit of of manifesting into co-creating what we are doing in this physical space. So if you don't have the fullness within yourself to appreciate, okay, this is my strength, these are my challenges, and I love me, then that is going to, you know, affect many other layers in our life. So getting to that space of, okay, I'm going to accept all that is within me right now. I'm going to start just appreciating little by little. You know, that's how we view ourselves is the start of how we start to make those shifts. And that is what's so beautiful and so multi-layered about womb work.
Yeah, it's so deep and delicious. I love it. Thank you. What would be a good start for people to, or if anyone who was watching this, what would be a good start for them to be able to drop into their body and start appreciating?
To drop into their bodies is to dialogue with your womb and with your body, which may seem very foreign. It's like, what do you mean dialogue with your womb? Like, I don't know what I'm listening for. And I know, because that's exactly what I said. I'm like, dialogue, what do you mean dialogue? Like, it doesn't talk. Like, what do you mean? And it's really how we, you know, when we connect with our bodies, when we drop into a meditation, or we just come into a space of stillness, right? Here's where it comes into where it could be we listen to our intuition when we have that feeling in our bodies, right? So the most straightforward practice is to carve out some space to, and you know, everybody has lives of fullness in their lives. So you make it work for you, whether you want to drop in for 10 minutes, for a half an hour, however you can make time for yourself. But to drop into the dialogue with your womb, a simple practice would be to put one hand on your heart, or one hand on your belly, or both hands on your womb. What this does is this is a visceral, physical connection to you and your body. You're giving yourself support, right? And when you do a meditation, most of the times you would drop in and you would close your eyes. That helps you to tune in into your body, into your innate wisdom. Sometimes we don't need to do that. We can, you know, focus on a tree or something outside and just be in that space. Again, it is totally up to you how you ground yourself and drop in. And then a practice that I interweave is that when you inhale, you contract your belly. And then when you exhale, you release your belly into your hands. So there's this contract and release. You're giving yourself the space to just drop the muscles of all of your body, drop the muscles, drop the bone, and just ground into the space. And when you contract, you visualize the ocean, the tide coming in. And when you release, the ocean goes away. So you're in that space of the sacred waters, nourishing and cleansing your womb space. And this really helps you to just focus and align and just prepare your body for clearing your mind, clearing, you know, the access that goes outside of here, and just tune in. And you can ask yourself, when you feel that you're at that space of stillness, and you ask yourself the question, what do I need to know right now? Or if there's a question that's happening in your life and you're looking for an answer, you know, ask, you know, I'm really feeling overwhelmed right now. What do I need to know? Yeah. Something like that. And you just be still. The wisdom that comes through is going to be very unique to everybody. A word may come up, a vision of something, a person, place, or thing, lyrics of a song, you know, a movie, a situation out of a movie, you know, you might think of somebody. Whatever it is, you know, whatever that comes through will be your intuition, your innate womb wisdom giving you the answer. And sometimes nothing may happen, right? You're just in that space of, okay, maybe you just need to be in that space of you just need stillness. But later something will come up and then it's just like, okay, I have the answer. So that is one, you know, practice to just bring yourself into a space of grounding. The other that can also ground you is to move. Put on a song that makes you feel good. Put on a song, or just like shake it up. You know, just shake up the energy in the body. Shake, you could go from the whole, you know, starting from the ground up, the legs, just vigorous shaking, you know, being safe for your body, of course, you know, from the legs to the hips, to the torso, to the arms, to the head, you know, really just letting it all go. And when you feel like you've shaken everything enough, you know, you might groove to the song or whatnot, and then you come to a space of stillness. And when you do that, you will feel the vibration in your body. You'll come to a space of breath, of stillness, and you're more in a space to receive what needs to be answered, or what is coming through. You're more of an open channel to be in that deep listening, and to clear your head, and to, oh, there's a solution that maybe just popped up in your head, and be like, oh, or an idea just popped up. Oh, okay, wait, quick, write it down, you know. So you said one, I gave you two.
Well, and it's perfect because it embodies both for you, right? The womb wisdom, both through the quiet and stillness, and also the active movement, which instills, well, which creates openings, and then sitting in the stillness to get the answer. I love that. And I felt that as I was doing that exercise. I never thought about letting your belly like relax into the hand. And it was just like, whoa, I felt this beautiful opening. It was quite powerful, actually. I can't wait to practice a little bit more with that. But I do love that. That's one of my favorite questions is, what do I need to know right now? Always, what is the information that I need to know right now? And as my intuition has been opening even more, I've been getting lyric downloads all the time. And I find myself humming and singing. I'm like, where did that song come from? And it's just like in my head, in my body, and I'm humming it over and over and over again. And I don't even know how long I've been humming it until I actually realize it. But it's usually been it's there for a little while. So it's so neat just to see the messages and how they're starting to come through.
I remember this is when I started to really deeply understand. I knew it before, but when it happened, when I had like that actual proof and visceral feeling, my family, we were in Antigua, and we visited the place where my mom was buried. And we went there before we were going to come back to Canada.
Right.
And, we got there, and we were all, it was my dad, my sister, and myself. And we got there and we were all pretty quiet. My sister was a little bit more, she was feeling it, as she was saying, bye. And I was trying my best to keep it together,
right.
And be a support for her. And, we just stood there and we were quiet. And then, it was time to go. So we walked back to the Jeep, and we were driving to visit a cousin before we were going to the airport. And so we were all just sitting in the car, and we were quiet. Nobody said anything. We were just pretty much, feeling what we were feeling. And a song was playing on the radio. It was just ending. And it was cloudy, right, as we were leaving the cemetery. It was cloudy. The song was just finishing. The DJ was saying some words, da 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 da. And then the next song came on. It was, and I heard the lyrics. When you feel down and out, sing a song, it'll make you dance. When you feel, and it was the lyrics to Earth, Wind, and Fire, Sing a Song. And I'm listening to the lyrics, and the sun starts to appear. And it was like it was shining through the car. I saw this opening,
So cool.
And I'm seeing the light come through, and I was feeling the heat. And as we were deep, I'm listening to the song, and I put my hand on my sister's shoulder. I said, "Are you listening to the song right now?" She's like, "Yeah, why?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Mom is speaking to us right now."
Powerful.
Through that song. She's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Listen to the song."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, okay." I don't know if she fully got it,
Right.
but
You did.
I was like, okay, Mom. I was like, okay. You know, we were feeling that heaviness because, you know, we miss her.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like her saying to us, "I'm okay. I'm with you all the time.
Yeah.
Don't be sad. You know, smile, dance. It's okay." And when I went through that experience, I was like, okay, there are things out there that we can't explain, but we know we can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what the intuition is. That is what our innate wisdom is. That is our womb wisdom. We can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
We can understand. We can hear a song differently, or we can see a situation and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the beauty of dialoguing with the womb and doing and feeling into these energetic practices, because you hear, you feel things, and then you know what that's for,
Yeah.
and you see that situation differently, and you come and you
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, all right, here it is. I got it now. I know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, confirmation. Absolute confirmation. I love it.
Mhm.
Wow, we're at the end of our time here today. Thank you so much for all that you have shared. So much amazing information. And yes, the power of our wombs are so, it's, the more we can tap into it, we will change. I believe we will shift humanity and the feminine, and create more conscious and confident, powerful women in the world.
Mhm.
Do you have any last minute things that you'd like to share?
Um, it's so interesting to distill it down to one. But what I will say is that, you know, we're in this space where there's a lot of things going on right now, and we're taking a hard look at what we're doing in our lives and what we're doing in the collective and
Mm-hmm.
what we are doing for humanity, how we can do better, how we can best educate ourselves, how we can be more empathetic and compassionate, and how we can relate to one another and value each
Mm-hmm.
other equally, and to treat each other with dignity
Mm-hmm.
and respect, and really do that inventory of, you know, how have we been conscious, unconscious, passive, or done some things that are just like, oh crap, okay, we need to shift that, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand, and then doing the investigation of like, well, no, look at it this way.
Mm-hmm.
um and but as we do this deep work,
Mm-hmm.
give gratitude for, first of all, for giving yourself, for doing the work,
Yeah.
right? For doing the work for yourself, for your families, for the collective.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give yourself a pat on the back for that, for either continuing to do the work,
Yeah.
or maybe you're just starting to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also celebrate the many victories
Yeah.
that you have accomplished in your life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that has brought you to this point,
Mm-hmm.
right? um, so whether you're working on reshifting your life and doing a new business, a new project, or what have you, you know, um, when we're uprooting and really looking at things, the lens of judgment and shame and guilt and anxiousness and fear can set in. So taking a step back and looking through a broader lens of non-judgment and say, okay, well, I did this. I can appreciate that. I've done a little bit of this. Okay, you know, give gratitude of the things that you have done, and also give gratitude to your present and your future. And as we're in this space of doing better for humanity and for all of us, is not to let the momentum die. Try not to get into the space of complacency of, well, you know, there's so much that's already been done. Well, you know, we should be thankful. Yeah, we should be. Yes, there is stuff to be thankful for, but there, as we are seeing right now, there is much more work that still needs to be done. And not to get complacent. And not to keep expressing and talking and advocating for humanity, equality, and justice for everybody, for the people that have been oppressed. For we just want to live in a space where we're all safe and treated fairly. So the work continues. So don't let the momentum die. Keep going.
I love that. Well, when I was just looking at just because there was such a good piece that came out of one of our last conversations about the living legacy and how we need to work for right now and to build. It's important to do the work right now instead of leaving it to the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There is, we can't, I love Whitney Houston. I love, you know, but I believe when we say the children are our future, I believe that is passing the responsibility and not making ourselves accountable and saying, well, you're the future generation, you're going to fix us. That is complete. That is not completely, that is not true. Yes, the future generation are going to do things. They're going to learn from what is going on, and they're going to do other things. But it is up to us right now, in this present time, moving forward, to do the work. Not just giving it to the children and say, you're going to fix us. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's not right. We, all of us, have to take responsibility and do what we can to make our world better now and in the future for our children. So there's no waiting. There's now.
Right. Powerful. And it is. I couldn't agree with you more. It is now. We need to make the changes in our own communities, in our own cultures, in our own conversations. All of it is right now.
And just understand we're in a global, we are global citizens.
Yeah.
To remember, like, how we are all connected when we see something happening on the other side of the world. We are all energetically connected. So remember that.
Powerful. Beautiful. A beautiful place to leave the end of our conversation here today. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your wisdom. And I love listening to you talk and express yourself. I see your energy. And I'm so grateful for the goddess that you are and the message that you continue to spread and be in the world. So thank you very much. And if you'd like to connect with Nicole, you can connect with her. I'll be putting her link in the show notes below. but it's the goddessmoves.space. So that's the goddessmoves.space. And you can connect with her and follow her there. She's got some really amazing offerings. And, you know, thank you again to our viewers for watching. We so appreciate. Please like, comment, and share. Continue the conversation. And, you know, I hoped even some of this conversation sparked some things to think about, especially in your own body. And Nicole generously gave some beautiful tips to and ways to incorporate that. So I hope you'll use some of them in your own practice. So thank you again, and I just hope that you continue to spread light, love, and hope into the world. And until next time, abundant love. Thank you.
Thank you.